this is Mary Halberts with All Beans Considered, and I am here today for your sensory minute or two. So here we are the day after Christmas. I hope you had a lovely holiday, whatever you like to celebrate. And most of us experienced a snowstorm. So I don't know about you, but the coffee I ordered for my special Christmas treat didn't arrive in time. So I wanted to share with you some ideas about coffees that you may have on hand and ways to preserve coffee. In my situation, not having the coffee I ordered yesterday or today, I tucked into my freezer, or what I call my vault of specialty coffees. The trick to preserving coffee long term is to store it in a way that is going to prevent oxidation and slow the overall process of coffee aging. Those are two key factors then, and they require no oxygen or air around the bean or minimizing it, and cold temperatures. That would be freezing, around below 30 degrees. In my case, as I said, my coffee didn't arrive, so I reached into my vault and selected a coffee this morning, the day after Christmas, and really enjoyed this. Happens to be a coffee I ordered from Ceremony Coffee, who are in Maryland. Check them out. They're a good coffee roaster. And it was just as good as when I drank it fresh a couple of months ago. In fact, it was roasted back in October on the 12th, and today it tasted every bit as good as it did back in late October. So a few things to think about when you get fresh coffee. Maybe you were fortunate, maybe your friends and family or yourself went out to a local roastery and got your coffee and brought it home. Or maybe all your coffee arrived on time or even early and you're looking at bags and bags of coffee. Well, you have a problem, because unless you drink lots of coffee all day long, you are going to have coffees that are starting to age. And for the first 10 to 12 days post-roast, they're going to get better, just sitting there at room temperature in the bag. One of the things you can do to enhance that process is to push the air out carefully. You'll see the pressure release valve here, but make sure you reseal your coffee and push out all air that you can between brewing, right? The next most important thing, if you're leaving it at room temperature for the first couple of weeks, which I recommend, is that you make sure that you don't disturb the bag in between. Now, the trick there is that you will see some pressure build up in this bag, especially the first few days after roast. This is CO2 off-gassing, and critically important actually in preserving the coffee is that CO2 will actually form pockets around all those beans of coffee and actually continue to preserve it, or at least slow oxidation. So the CO2 is going to be in higher concentration in the bag than oxygen, and as a result that will actually help essentially increase the lifespan of the coffee and improve its freshness while it's sitting here in your kitchen on the counter. So no worries on that, just don't keep pushing the CO2 out. Once you've pushed it out, let it sit until the next morning or whenever you're going to brew it. So when do you need to preserve your coffee? Through sealing and freezing, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Once your coffee has hit about the 2-week mark, in all likelihood, it's actually starting to go downhill. Most studies have shown that the coffee quality starts to go downhill. Now, if you haven't even opened that bag, I would say you have up to a month to open that bag of coffee and lose very little quality. But once it's open and we start to open and close it, that's when we lose a lot of the volatile aromas. And that's what you really want to preserve, because once they're gone, there's no getting them back. So I have 2 tricks. Usually around 2 to 3 weeks, I will seal and freeze any coffee I haven't been able to enjoy. So back in October, after a couple of weeks, I pushed all the air out of this coffee bag and I slipped it into a vacuum seal appropriate bag. I happen to use the Food Saver vacuum sealer, which is not a huge investment, and it'll pay you back over and over because you're going to preserve great coffee that you probably spent a lot of money on. I know I spend too much money on great coffee, but you know, we all have our priorities. So once I get the coffee in the bag, and you can make your own because the vacuum sealer always comes with a little roll of bags that you can buy more of anytime you want, and you can cut and prepare your own bags. So once you have the coffee in the bag, you're simply going to set this bag of coffee inside the lid, making sure to line it up as explained. And then you're going to close the lid and quite simply turn it to the operate button and hit back seal. It's loud, but it works. Now it's in the sealing stage, so the pitch will actually go up right before it seals. That means that the vacuum is good. If you don't get a pitch, there might be something wrong with your bag and it never goes into the seal mode, which is the red light here. Then you probably have to start over or recut a bag. Sometimes they're leaky or weird. So when I'm done, I have a beautifully sealed bag of coffee, and I can look forward to drinking this coffee for many, many months ahead. And when I take it out, I simply take out what I need, grind it while it's still frozen, another trick, and then pop it back in here, seal it again, and put it back in my handy freezer right over here. So, preserve your coffee, enjoy your coffee, and remember, the next time you drink your coffee, make sure to really taste your coffee. All right, see you next time.